don't talk about it at all. They just want to keep preying on the kids using these mind control agendas. And here's another one. Another child giving swine flu vaccine without consent. Health authorities flagrantly disregarding the refusal of consent in pursuit of mass vaccination mandate. A boy in Ohio has received the swine flu vaccine despite the fact that his mother clearly refused consent for her child to be inoculated. Another example of how these health officials are doing this is they're blatantly disregarding the wishes of the parents, okay? And then they just say, oops, it's a mistake. It's a mistake. That's what they say. You got to be kidding me. Matthew Angel called the nurses station at Carmel Elementary School to ask why his son Jacob Wages was given the vaccine. They told him they had mistaken the boy with another child. An investigation is currently underway to discover exactly what happened. A little cold can lead to a big thing for him. This kid has asthma and stuff. If he runs a temperature and it's not 100.1, it's 105, okay? And he fears that his son's health is at risk, and he's very justified in this feeling. The nasal spray version of the H1N1 vaccines contains live swine flu virus, and doctors and hospitals are expressing concern that the flu mist vaccine could endanger people, with children being the most vulnerable. And they keep saying children need to take this, pregnant women, older people. It seems, and they're pushing it on college age, the young people. They're saying that it affects them even more. When the reality is it doesn't affect them really anymore. It's actually quite mild compared to the regular seasonal flu. I have to remind people of this.
Has a lot of questions tonight after he says his son was given the H1N1 vaccination at school without his permission. The child got the vaccination from Montgomery County health officials at Camargo Elementary School. But his dad says the child has other health issues that make this vaccination potentially dangerous. Sherelle Roberts talked with the upset father and school officials for tonight's top story.
School officials say that it was a mix-up. A case of mistaken identity that caused a 7-year-old student to receive the H1N1 vaccine despite the fact that his parents said he wasn't supposed to. And now the young man's parents are upset. They want authorities to revisit their procedures and possibly change them to make sure this doesn't happen to another child.
I picked him up from school and he said he'd been to the nurse's station and he got medicine sprayed in his nose. And we didn't give him consent to do so.
So Matthew Angel called his son's school's nurses station and discovered his son had been given the flu mist vaccination for H1N1.
They said, we're sorry, we got the wrong kid by mistake.
The flu mist was supposed to go to another child who had a similar name to Jacob Wages.
Sorry, hardly fixes it though. A school is supposed to be a safe place.
But the flu mist was not given by a school official. A Montgomery County Health Department nurse was running a vaccination clinic at the school and administered it. We contacted the health department looking for an explanation, and they said that the incident is under investigation. But this dad says an investigation might not protect his asthmatic and naturally sickly child from falling ill because of the mistake.
A little cold can lead to a big thing for him. If he runs a temperature, it's not 100.1, it's 105.
He and his wife hope the health department's procedures in schools will be changed so this doesn't happen again.
And the doctor's excuses and whatnot, I would suggest calling a parent and double check it, instead of just a written consent. How about verbal?
And when we spoke to the school superintendent, he says to the best of his knowledge, he's never known any of the health department workers who come to the schools to run clinics to ever have made a mistake.
Now I've got this. Ron Paul questions why Obama's daughters haven't taken the swine flu vaccine. And I'm going to tell you right now why this is. Because if they got the vaccine, then all the people that they're trying to scare into getting the vaccine that are being told that it's not available to them would say, well, look at Obama's kids. You know, they're kids of privilege. They're going to get the swine flu vaccine, you know. And so therefore, that's why. And anyhow, these officials and stuff, they have been reporting that, you know, government officials aren't getting the adjuvants that are in the vaccines that the regular public gets. They're adjuvant free, you know, where a lot of the squalene and stuff is not put into their vaccines. You know, in a Campaign for Liberty video message, former presidential candidate Ron Paul labeled the vaccination program a failure and slammed Obama for failing to follow the same advice they'd given to the nation. And through this propaganda and everything, they're telling all the kids to get vaccinated.
This weekend, I was asked several times about the national emergency declared by the Obama administration regarding H1N1 flu. In many ways, I see it as a mixed bag, because I think it's interesting to note that the reason they give for doing this is to get out of the way of the bureaucracy. They're running into all kinds of trouble distributing the H1N1 flu vaccine, and they find out that the government bureaucracy is getting in the way, so their excuse, of course, is to facilitate this distribution and to take care of the problems that they say we have. But on the other hand, it's a rather dangerous thing that it may be just another one of those things that the government does to condition us that if they're in charge, if there's an emergency, declare emergency, because under these emergency they do get a lot more power. If they can have power to dismiss certain regulations, they also have power to do a lot more. And if they want to regulate the movement of people and watch them, this could be a very bad thing. But this whole idea of immunization is worth thinking about, because when people ask me about it, I say I have two opinions. One's a medical opinion or a political opinion. My political opinion is very simple. The government shouldn't be involved. There should never be a collective decision to force people to either pay for or take immunization. On immunizations, I think the country and the medical profession promotes too many inoculations, but I'm not against them all. I saw polio being wiped out, and I took a polio shot. So I think discretionary choice making is fine. But this whole idea that we're getting inoculation after inoculation, I do believe there's something to natural immune systems being knocked down by this. But, you know, it's interesting to note also that, you know, this distribution of the vaccine has really been a total failure. By the middle of October, they were supposed to have 120 million inoculations, you know, distributed and vaccines distributed around the country. It turns out that about 10% of that has been done. So it really has been a total failure in that sense. So here it is, they're providing free vaccine for everybody, but it's not available. And the tactics that they're using of scaring people, they don't even test most of these people. They're declaring that they have H1N1. But the story now is that 1,000 people have died in this country from H1N1. That possibly is true. It's a serious disease. It's not to be totally ignored. But how many people were already sick, and how many people really have the disease? And is 1,000 a catastrophic event where we have to have a national emergency and do all the things that they're doing? Between January and April of this year, there were 13,000 people that died in this country from the ordinary flu. That's 800 per week. I mean, it wasn't even mentioned. So here we have come up for the total year of 1,000, and there's a bit of hysteria going on regarding this program. But if they have totally failed in distributing this vaccine, which they're in a way admitting because now they're suspending the rules because the rules are getting in their way, if it's a total failure, why would anybody want to turn over their whole medical care to this group